season of Money Mind. Sundays 9:30 p.m. Money Mind is brought to you by Subaru and Manulife for your future. The Channel News Asia Luminary Leadership Forum recently brought together key corporate and academic leaders to share their invaluable insights on making a case for change.
Change is upon us every single minute, and we need to be prepared and not be surprised about it, but accept it.
I like what a number of the speakers say. The case for change is really about you either let people see the light or you let people feel the heat.
The first element of change to me is that I always try to create pain.
Human nature has a tremendous resistance to change.
Different viewpoints from the panelists further fueled the lively discussion.
Do you really need to have such a structured plan?
There's something but probably which I kind of disagree with Professor, in terms of planning. I learned a lot from my colleague in the panel, all the new things and ways in terms of doing it.
It's a good learning experience. We can adapt, certain things for our own company as well.
The Channel News Asia Luminary Leadership Forum 2013. Brought to you by official car partner Chrysler, official hotel partner the Fullerton Hotel, supported by Research and Knowledge Partners, recognizing the brightest and best in Asian business. Channel News Asia, Media Corp.
T.M. Lewin, shirt makers since 1898. Time by T.M. Lewin.
An everyday kitchen appliance turned into a deadly weapon. Pressure cookers could have been the bombs used in the Boston Marathon attack. A final send-off for Margaret Thatcher. Thousands pay their last respects at the funeral of the former British Prime Minister. And Aung San Suu Kyi explains why she's stayed largely silent on the plight of Myanmar's minorities. Welcome to The World Tonight. Now, U.S. investigators are piecing together evidence from the Boston Marathon bombing with an emerging picture of the explosive device and type of suspects. The FBI has revealed that the bombs may have been packed inside pressure cookers, and we're getting reports that one of the lids has been found on the roof of a nearby building.
U.S. investigators have gathered evidence at the crime scene, enough to slightly narrow their search for suspects. One item of interest is this mangled pressure cooker. It was likely stuffed with nails and ball bearings, then triggered by perhaps egg timers. Charred wires, a battery, and what looks like a circuit board were found at the scene. So whoever did it had to be carrying heavy bags, specifically backpacks made of dark nylon. And the homemade devices suggest it could have been a lone wolf.
The person who did this is someone's friend, neighbor, co-worker, or relative. We are asking anyone who may have heard someone speak about the marathon or the date of April 15th in any way that indicated that he or she may target the event to call us. Someone knows who did this.
As Boston continues to pay tributes to the dead and injured, this boy has emerged as the face of the tragedy. Martin Richards was only 8. He's a fan of the city's hockey team, the Boston Bruins. It was also revealed that 29-year-old restaurant manager Crystal Campbell was among those killed. The third fatality is a Chinese national, a graduate student from Boston University. The attacks left over 180 people injured, some so seriously, amputations had to be conducted at the scene. President Barack Obama will travel to Boston on Thursday for a memorial service. The Boston Marathon is the world's oldest annual marathon, and the attack has prompted race organizers across the world to review their security measures.
We'll be stronger next marathon next year, and we'll be in a better shape. They're not gonna win. They're gonna lose no matter what.
Meanwhile, the hospital, which took in several of the injured, says some of them will be discharged soon. The Boston Medical Center took in 23 people after the blasts. 4 were released on Tuesday. Now, the youngest still in hospital is a 5-year-old boy.
We've taken out large quantities of pieces of things. It's hard to really tell exactly what they are. We send them to the pathologist, and they're available to the police. Right, and we're not really making any judgments about where these fragments come from. Some are metal, some are plastic, some are wood, some are concrete. It's really difficult to know. So it doesn't really matter to us. We're just trying to deal with the consequences of those fragments.
Ray May is a former FBI agent and now senior program manager with the Sufan Group, and that's a security consultancy. He joins us from Qatar right now. Evening, Ray. Talk us through some of what forensics will be considering as they try to piece together what happened at the site.
Hi, Glenda. In my opinion, based on my experience, having spent 23 years in the FBI and worked a lot of these major events, to include the Centennial Park bombing in 1996, and then all the preparations for the 2002 Winter Olympic Games in Salt Lake City. My opinion of what's going on right now is that they're gathering all of the evidence. They're combing through the crime scene. They're gathering as much available information as they can in terms of photographs, witness accounts, information that can be gleaned from PDAs, cell phones, cameras, everything that's possibly available that they can put together as evidence in this case to give them investigative clues to carry on their investigation.
Okay, Ray. Now, the use of such improvised, even homemade explosive devices, are they common? And specifically, what does the use of such devices say about the bomber, or in this case, maybe bombers?
Yeah, Glenda. This kind of a device is not uncommon, actually. Improvised explosive devices have been used in the past. Particularly, I can cite examples like the Oklahoma City bombing, which was a large vehicle improvised explosive device using dynamite, ammonium nitrate, and fuel oil. Obviously, a very, very, very big improvised explosive device. In the Centennial Park bombing, a backpack was used, and the fabrication of a pipe bomb using the same type of shrapnel devices, nails, BBs, gunpowder, wires, batteries. In order to fabricate a device like this, it doesn't take sophisticated materials or knowledge. The information for constructing a device like this is readily available on the internet, in books that are available, and you don't have to have a sophisticated background to put together something like this.
All right. Well, so far we know that no one has claimed responsibility for the attacks. Is this unusual? Because, wouldn't perpetrators typically claim responsibility for their handiwork?
Not necessarily, and I personally, I don't think that should be something that should be a critical element. What's going to be really important, Glenda, in this case is sifting through all of that forensic information, conducting the interviews. Literally, there'll probably be thousands of witness interviews done, people that were at that location leading up to, during, and after the event. And it will be important to take painstaking methods in order to carry out every possible lead on this investigation. It could take some time, and I think that's going to be the real challenge here, is that the public wants whoever did this brought to justice immediately, and it's going to be very challenging to take the time that's necessary in order to carry out this investigation.
All right, many thanks for speaking with us. I've been speaking with Ray May, and he's a former FBI agent and now a senior program manager with the Sufan Group, and he's been speaking to us from Qatar. Now, organisers of the London Marathon have confirmed that this Sunday's race will go ahead as scheduled, and they've urged people to turn up to show solidarity with those affected by the Boston bombings. London police say they've been in touch with their Boston counterparts and have reviewed security measures for the event.
It's a very reasonable response to an event such as we've seen. Over 170 people injured, 3 people dead. We'd be professionally irresponsible if we didn't take some reasonable steps.
A 30-second period of silence will be held before the start of the race in memory of the victims of Monday's attacks. Organisers have also encouraged competitors to wear black ribbons in solidarity. Britain has bid farewell to Margaret Thatcher in a ceremonial funeral filled with pomp and splendour.
That we cannot achieve.
Queen Elizabeth headed the guest list as the country's governing elite and global leaders paid their respects at St. Paul's Cathedral. The funeral reinforced the themes of Mrs. Thatcher's political career. The music included her favourite hymn, I Vow to Thee My Country, with its patriotic overtones.
Finally, my brethren.
The readings were given by Amanda Thatcher, the granddaughter of the former leader, as well as the current Prime Minister, David Cameron. A common theme in the readings was the importance of staying constant and fighting against evil, principles which defined Mrs. Thatcher's life. Giving the funeral sermon, the Bishop of London injected a lighter touch into the proceedings with this anecdote.
I was once sitting next to her at some city function, and in the midst of describing how Hayek's road to serfdom had influenced her thinking, she suddenly grasped my wrist and said very emphatically, "Don't touch the duck pate, Bishop. It's very fattening."
On a more serious note, the Bishop also